What's up, zoners? At this time last season, Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams were sitting on your waiver wire, man. So I am here to tell you 10 players in detail that I think are on your waiver wire that can win your league. I also have like 7 more that I like, dude. So if I name everybody on the waiver wire, I've got to be right somewhere, right, man? So anyways, I've got all my notes typed out, and I will share that with you in a second. But first off, I do want to ask, if you end up liking this video, if you could thumbs up this video, as it will push us out to more people, and that is exactly what this channel needs right now. All right, so hold on for 7 seconds and you'll get the notes. First off, we're only going to cover players that are 50% or less owned in ESPN fantasy leagues, and Khalil Shakir is number 1 for me, 47.2% owned, man. And what we are looking for in these players are what players have a wide receiver room or a running back room that there is not a clear-cut number 1 option, man. So they lost Stephon Diggs. That is 160 targets out the window. Gabe Davis gone as well. So the number 1 option here is up for grabs for a Josh Allen offense, man. And Khalil Shakir, dude, has played there for 3 years. He has the rapport. He had 2 touchdowns over his last 3 games last season, and he ranked number 1 in catch rate at 88%, man. Out of 100 balls, that fool caught 88 of them, okay? And had the highest quarterback wide receiver rating between him and Josh Allen. So the rapport is real. The chemistry is real. They are hosting Arizona in week 1. Arizona is giving up the 18th most fantasy points to wide receivers. So that is a decent matchup, dude. But I tried to get Khalil in every single one of my leagues, and he is still available in over half of them. Next up, Khalil Herbert, 19.4% owned. Swift did go from the Eagles to the Bears, and dude, Swift is not a threat to me. The Eagles ranked 6th in rushing attempts and number 1 in run block win rate, dude. He had a running back 20 finish last year. He was running back 34 week 9 on, dude. So he fell off a cliff. I do not see him as a workhorse running back in any offense, and I do see this offense overproducing. I did invest in DJ Moore and Caleb Williams, and dude, Vegas even has Keenan Allen as a top player for yardage this season. So Vegas believes in the Bears. I believe in the Bears. Believe in the goddamn Bears, man. Running back 2 on the depth chart. 3 top 8 weekly finishes last year, including 2 in the last 3 games of the season. So at the end of the season last year, same coaching staff except for the offensive coordinator, but still, dude, defensive coordinator, head coach wants to run the ball. And all of those had 100-plus rushing yards games with 18-plus carries. So he is a workhorse running back. I've been talking about Khalil Herbert for 3 years, dude. His rushing metrics are off the chart, all right? He's always like top 5 in everything. I say that. But he ranked 9th in forced missed tackles per attempt and 12th in explosive run rate last year. Explosive run is a run of 10 yards or more, and he got, dude, 12th highest rate of that. But the important thing is the 9th in forced missed tackles per attempt. That is the sticky stat for running back success. He led the Bears in rushing attempts during preseason and did not play the 3rd preseason game with the rest of the starters. They were saving him, all right? They are hosting Tennessee. Tennessee is giving up the 22nd most points to running backs in 2023. That is not great. But still, dude, Khalil Herbert, I have in a bold prediction. He's going to be a top 20 fantasy running back this year. I still believe it. Next up, Romeo Doubs at 35.9% owned. Who is going to be the number 1 wide receiver for Jordan Love? Is it going to be Christian Watson? Dude, Jaden Reed is even getting picked over Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs entering his 3rd season, so he is still young. On the depth chart, dude, he is listed as wide receiver 2. That is important for something we'll talk about in a second. But the preseason hype, man, came from Jair Alexander and all the beat writers. Jair Alexander was saying that Romeo Doubs was the best wide receiver he's ever had to go against in the league, except for Devontae Adams. And he has been reported to be the favorite red zone threat this training camp by reporters and fans, which is going to be super important with Jordan Love because, dude, that team is going to score some points, man. They turned the corner second half of last year. So 2 wide receiver sets. I was reading an article about this. I was all about Jaden Reed being ahead of Romeo Doubs, even before all this preseason hype, because they run 2 wide receiver sets quite a bit. And the second wide receiver in those sets are Romeo Doubs. So when they do that, Jaden Reed is not on the field. So I want somebody on the field a lot. And so that's why I went with Romeo Doubs. And then at Philadelphia, Week 1, dude, they are giving up the most. They gave up the most fantasy points to wide receivers last year, so we should get a good idea about the clarity of Green Bay wide receivers after Week 1. So pick him up, dude, and then if he's not hitting it, drop him in going into Week 2, because Philadelphia did not fix all of their fucking problems, dude, in one offseason. Next up, man, I am having a very hard time not dropping a running back and picking this guy up as my tight end number 2. Jonnu Smith, dude. 3% owned. Tight end 1 on Miami depth chart. So he's going to be, what, the third option? The third option in Miami. That super high-powered offense. Let's see, dude. Miami lines up with 2 tight ends on the field at the second highest rate in the NFL behind San Francisco. Dude, San Francisco's like 60-something%. Then is Miami's like high 50s, and then everybody else is like super low. So they have tight ends on the field a lot. This is great for Jonnu Smith. He will not be asked to sit and block. He will be running a ton of routes. And there are, ranked 17th in receiving games last year, yards per game. He caught a lot of balls last year, man. And fifth in forced missed tackles per reception. That is huge in a Josh McDaniels offense with Tua. That literally lines up with what they want to do, man. Like, dink and dunk, all yards after the catch. That's all Tyreek Hill. That's all Waddle. It's all Jonnu Smith. This is part of the plan, man. I really want to pick this guy up. I just don't have the roster spots. Many videos of him burning fools at camp, and noted to be making a ton of contested catches, as well as run after the catch. So his stats from last year are lining up with his training camp hype. They're hosting Jacksonville, dude. 7th most points to tight ends in 2023. Jonnu Smith, you can start Week 1. Next up, man, another wide receiver 1 room with no clear-cut wide receiver 1. Demario Douglas, sitting at 40.6% owned. Patriots ranked dead last in almost every offensive statistic in 2023, okay? And he still averaged 11 fantasy points per game for like 5 weeks in a row with a 21% target share. And then he got injured. He was injured off and on. And I'm just saying, dude, that was the biggest clusterfuck of an offense you've ever seen. And he still was a flex-worthy option for you. Now in comes Jacoby Brissett, man. Jacoby Brissett. I actually really like Jacoby Brissett for supporting like 1 or 2 wide receivers in fantasy. And then best case scenario, man, we get Drake May just slinging it, dude, halfway through the season. And Demario Douglas will be a thing. They did draft 2 wide receivers like Polk and somebody else, man, but they need veterans, man. They need veterans right now. They need to develop these people over time. Brissett can support a flex. I said that. So Week 1, they are at Cincinnati, and they gave up the 10th most fantasy points to wide receivers in 2023. Demario Douglas is literally a PPR flex option sitting out there on the waiver wires for you right now. All right, next up, man, I tried to pick this guy up in every single one of my leagues. The running back 1 in this room is kind of clear cut, but not a lot of confidence, man. They've been trying to replace him for a couple years in a row, and they just got a 4th-round rookie in Ray Davis, the running back for the Buffalo Bills. He is at 14% owned. I'm part of the 14%, at least. I got him. I wanted to get Steele as well, but guess what, dude? I couldn't get him. Listed as running back 2 on the depth chart behind James Cook. He's got a defensive head coach. Joe Brady wanted to run the hell out of the ball last year, all right? Averaged 10 yards per reception and led Kentucky with 7 touchdown receptions last year. This guy is a pass-catching actual specialist, and he has been noted about his physical run style in training camp, all right? So he had all these, he did well in training camp. He did not play preseason Week 3, just like the rest of the starters. So that was great, dude. I love that. And Frank Gore was actually doing really well this preseason, and Frank Gore did play preseason Week 3, and they traded his ass. Ray Davis, the negative was that he did have fumble issues in camp, but dude, what's his name? James Cook had drop issues in camp. So they both were struggling. And then Sean McDermott was quoted praising Ray Davis for his physical run style and seeking contact. That does not sound like James Cook to me. So, dude, Ray Davis is going to be a pass-catching, physical back for Joe Brady in a Josh Allen offense with a defensive head coach still. He's available, man. 86% of your leagues, for God's sakes. Hosting Arizona, the most points allowed to running backs in 2023. So I'm sure that will change with Jonathan Gannon as their head coach. But for right now, dude, this should be a good test. Week 1 with Ray Davis. Pick him up. And then maybe drop him if you don't like him. Next up, man, a guy I have tried to get in every single one of my leagues as well. Vidal. I was all about him after the draft. I was like, dude, Jim Harbaugh just drafted a running back, And college coaches going from college to the NFL, a la Pete Carroll and some other fools I can't think of right now, hit on all of their like draft picks for the first 2 years because they know these players. So I paid a lot of attention to Vidal going to the Chargers. He is 3.9% owned, 6th round rookie. Dude, but I had to get off of Vidal because all the reports coming out of camp were that he was losing his roster spot to Jarrett Patterson, man. And then all of a sudden, Vidal came out preseason, did well, way better than Patterson, and then Patterson got cut the next week. And then I started looking into it deeper. There were reports he was injured from the time he got to training camp until he popped off in that preseason game. So this is what has kept the hype train down, man. Like literally, if he was what I thought he was going to be, he would have been drafted in every single league. But he got injured. People forgot about him. They are hosting Las Vegas. They are giving up the 10th most points to running backs in 2023. Vidal, I'm picking up in every single one of my league because if he hits, he will be a top 10, top 5 running back. They're going to run the hell out of the ball. Next up, man, my choice for the next Puka Nacua, going on like 3 weeks now, Andre Iosivas, 1.7% owned. I actually own him in both of my leagues. Dude, so this all comes from Joe Burrow, saying that he's going to have a huge year inside or outside. He had to run all the routes for Jamar Chase because Jamar Chase wasn't at camp, and he was burning fools. Got a lot of attention to himself. And then they put him in the slot where he's going to be playing for the year, for the season, which is a very valuable position, dude. I mean, just think about Tyler Boyd. If you have any type of talent, you can have an amazing PPR flex option in this offense. And then if something happens between Higgins or Jamar Chase, we're talking top 15, top 20 wide receiver here, and he's available in 98% of leagues right now. And he was named by The Athletic, the fans, breakout player camp, breakout player this, breakout player that, dude. He had 2 touchdowns in the very last week of the season, last season, dude. So there is a little bit of momentum going into this year. On the depth chart, he is the wide receiver 3 right now. They are hosting New England, who are giving up the 15th most points to wide receivers. So I'm telling you, dude, Andre Iosivas. If you want to listen to Joe Burrow talk about him, just YouTube it. It is pretty crazy listening to it. I think that he's going to be a flex option with wide receiver 2 upside. And people are tripping out about Jamar Chase, dude. If Jamar Chase is in there, we're talking the next Puka Nacua. Speaking of Puka Nacua, man, our next up, Jordan Whittington is on the same team as Puka Nacua. He is only 1.1% owned, 6th round rookie from Texas. He started running with the first team offense on the second day of practice, and Cooper Kupp did go to Texas as well. And apparently, dude, it's like a match made in heaven, dude. He is going over Cooper Kupp's. He's going over his wing. He's going under his wing, man. Even better than that. And, dude, just look at preseason. He killed it in preseason. 9 targets, 8 targets. He wore a microphone, which is a big deal to all these insiders and stuff. They're trying to promote him, all right? Puka Nacua has been dealing with an injury, dude. We have seen Cooper Kupp his seasons ended with injuries like 2 years in a row. Jordan Whittington is going to be a real thing. And guess what? They talked about him being in the backfield running jet sweeps and shit. And it's all freaking Kyren Williams owners out. Jordan Whittington is worth a pickup to see how he will be used, man. And then worst case scenario, I'm telling you, if one of those players goes down, I'm blowing my load on this guy. All my fab, free agency budget, I will spend a bunch of money. They are at Detroit. Week 1, the 4th most points to wide receivers in 2023. I think that he might be a flex option coming out of the bat, dude. Sean McVay is a coach that you want to target for fantasy breakouts, and this guy has all of the potential if it wasn't for Puka and Cooper. All right, guys, the last player we're going to cover in detail, Carson Steele, the running back for the Chiefs, 2% owned. I tried to pick him up. I got him in one league, and I got jacked in the other league, dude. Undrafted rookie. Rushed 4 times for, dude, he's been explosive in the preseason. And I watched the preseason game with, I want to say, Brett Veach or whatever, the GM for the Chiefs. And he was just talking about, like, they did not play with the fullback last year. They want to play with the fullback this year. So this guy will be on the field. And they talked about him being a goal line back as a fullback. Dude, this is not good for Pacheco owners. Pacheco owners want all the touchdowns. That's what they need. And this guy is going to be taking a lot of those opportunities with the upside of taking the job as well. Dude, Carson Steele, though. Pacheco, I do want to say, Pacheco was good on the goal line last year. 9 rushing attempts inside the 5, converted those into 5 rushing touchdowns. So I don't see why people are so concerned about him being a bad goal line back because he was not. But still, all the Chiefs insiders are saying that this guy's going to be the goal line back. I listened to Brett Veach, and I was like, holy shit, man, this guy's in love. But still, he's got P. Ryan in front of him. CEH is dealing with PTSD that sucks, and he just got put on the PUP list. So he's going to be competing with the Isaiah Pacheco role. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be halfway through the year where this might have to happen. But right now, dude, if you got roster spots, I would pick him up and just see how he's going to be used. They're hosting Baltimore, and Baltimore's giving up the 25th most points to running backs in 2023. Probably not a great matchup. You never really wanted to go goal line. You don't see a lot of goal line success running the ball against Baltimore. You usually have to throw it. All right, guys, on my list of honorable mentions, players that should be rostered at least, Adonai Mitchell, dude. Go check out the preseason hype on this guy. I still just really like Josh Downs. That is my problem there, and I know Michael Pittman's going to get a lot of targets, but still, Adonai Mitchell should be amazing. I love Shane Steichen, and when he drafts a wide receiver, you should pay attention. Rico Dowdle, man. So they got Dalvin Cook, and now nobody gives a shit about Rico Dowdle. I think that the Rico Dowdle's job is safe. It's more about the Ezekiel Elliott job with Dalvin Cook, so look at that. Then De'Ami Brown and Luke McCaffrey. I'd rather have De'Ami Brown. They did trade Jahan Dotson over there in the Commanders, and we need to figure out who's going to be the number 2 option for the Redskins, dude. Or the Redskins, for the Commanders. Oh, my God. I love Terry McLaurin this year. Then, dude, Jaleel McLaughlin, we're still waiting for that Reggie Bush role to emerge on this team. So if you want to pick him up and see how he's going to be used in the first game, I would do that. Jalen Wright, dude. Just came out 10 minutes ago. McDaniel's saying they're going to do a 3-man rotation. And all he needs is either Achane or Mostert to get injured. And it opens the door huge for Jalen Wright. I should be picking him up over Ray Davis and stuff, but I don't know, man. There's just too many people in front of him. Tracy Jones, I think that's the rookie. That's the rookie behind Devin Singletary. He should be owned. Marshawn Lloyd is going to be back before expected. He was injured, but apparently he's going to be back after week 1, maybe. Bucky Irving looks amazing, dude. And all he has in front of him is Rachaad White. And if you look at Rachaad White's efficiency metrics, they have sucked. And then Greg Dulcich, tight end. Troutman is the tight end 1 there, but everybody keeps on talking about Dulcich being the value tight end there, so I just wrote him down. All right, man, that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, I earned a thumbs up. Hopefully, I earned a subscription. Shout out to Demario, man, our only Patreon subscriber. Remember, man, if you want to support the show, the only way we're going to make more content is if we get to quit our job a little bit, and that's not going to happen until we get cash in the bank account. $5 a month. You can support us on Patreon. That'd be amazing, man. It's in the link down below. If you can't afford it, don't do it. I know what it's like to be poor. I'm paying off this laptop, dude. Right now, I need to pay it off within 2 months. Holy shit. It's happening now. This is Tyler Big Turd Ward. This is the Fantasy Red Zone. We're going to be having our start, sit, / play and pause episode coming out tomorrow or the next day. I don't know, dude. But before the Thursday night game. So get ready for that. Hey, I appreciate you.